Hey guys, today we're checking out the NUX Dual Loop Stereo. So these guys have brought out their own dual track looper, and I've been really impressed with all NUX's stuff, so I'm really keen to check this out. Okay, so this is the unit, and it is a good looking unit. The build and size of this unit reminds me a lot of the RC500, like the Boss series, where you've kind of got the three buttons on the front here, but you get a nice color digital display and a bunch of effects in the menu. You can easily access your loop types through here. On first impression, everything feels really good. The buttons feel really good. It's all metal. Obviously, if you're competing with brands like Boss and Zoom and stuff, they're all build quality is very important for these stomp boxes, and I think they've done that. They've ticked the box. There's no way you're going to stand on this thing and break it. I like that these knobs are quite, they feel really good and they feel very solid. They don't feel like something you're going to kick and even move that, compared to, I've been using some TC Helicon pedals for a long time, and they're quite old now, but the buttons are so sensitive and it's so easy to just flip them with your foot. These have a really nice kind of heavy weighted turn to them, and yeah, they feel really good. Looking at the I/O on the back, we have a mic input, phantom power, instrument input, and then a stereo output, and then you've got phones, aux in and out, I assume, and MIDI in and out, and then expression, and then your DC 9 volt 500 milliamp input there. This pedal doesn't seem to have a battery, and it doesn't seem to take any batteries. These days, there's a lot of solutions for that because you can power these things with power banks and stuff like that, but it would have been nice to see if they would just chuck in a couple of batteries in it. But it's always nice to see mobile battery power and things, but not in this unit. One thing NUX seem to do very well is they always throw in something. At least for me, I'm always finding a feature, and they throw in this little Footswitch, which they also give you this TRRS cable, which you can connect the Footswitch to your looper, and you can have more control. So you can use these to control effects or your loops or start stop, and then suddenly your little 3-button looper has become a full-on loop station with built-in effects and all sorts of stuff going on. Obviously, they give you a power supply. They also give you one of these MIDI adapters in the box, and then you get a USB to USB-C cable for your recording, and they give you one of those little A to C adapters, so you can turn the cable into that. Connect this looper to your computer. If you wanted to record your set directly out of that USB-C port, you can. Cool, let's get this guy plugged in and let's run a few loops through it and see how it goes. So it just has a regular, sort of 9 volt power thing on the side and a beautiful color display, which I really like. I quite like the color too. It's kind of like that Lamborghini yellow. Okay, so one thing I really like off the bat with NUX's stuff is the user interface is really good. I think they design it kind of maybe off other pedals, but just opening it up, you can use it super easily. It comes up, you've got obviously the left rotary / push control wheel is your memory, different memories which you can program, and you can also press the button. When you press it, it switches the drum between these two tracks. I'm not sure what that means. And then on the other side, you've got this another rotary that says power with a check, and if you press that one, it's going to take you into the menu. I really like that it's got this lovely color display. So you can change the brightness. I'll see if I can just get the brightness right so you can see it a bit better on the screen. Turn the brightness down a bit. Let's leave it right there. You can also adjust, which is quite cute, the boot up picture. You can upload your own picture, which is a really cute thing that NUX do. Then flicking through the settings quickly, record, you've got instant detecting or pre-beat. I'm pretty sure instant just means it instantly starts recording when you press the button. Detecting means it actually doesn't record from your signal until you hit the guitar or it detects an input. So that can be good for sample pads and stuff like that. Pre-beat, I need to look at that. And then dub menu, you've got your classic record, play, dub, or record, dub, play. And that is just when you press the record button, first press is going to be record, second press is going to immediately start playing back what you've got, and then a third press will put it into overdub mode, which you can record on the top. Some people like to change it to record, dub, play. So after you record, it immediately starts overdubbing, and then you press it again to play. I actually prefer to have it immediately play, and then I overdub. So I would actually set this into record, play, dub, and so I can just change that here and select record, play, dub. I prefer that because usually if I want to overdub, I'll double tap it. I'll just reignite the recording cycle. Next one, that's super clear and super easy in this menu to just set things like that up. Makes a lot of sense. And then you've got stop. So for stop modes, these are all getting pretty normalized, how they refer to these terms. So you've got immediate, so you press stop and it's just gonna cut your loop immediately. One shot means it's actually gonna play your loop through one time. It's actually not gonna loop it. It's just gonna, if you press play, it's gonna play it, and then when it gets to the end, it's just gonna stop. So that's handy for like, if you're doing a longer loop for like an A-B section and that kind of thing. And then the next one, which is loop end, obviously it means it's gonna stop at the end of the loop, and fade out as well, which is quite nice. So that's quite handy. And they're your 4 main stop modes. Then the next one, path. This is quite handy. This is just the routing of your outputs and things. So you've got mic plus instrument mono. It sort of says going through stereo in and out, and then split output. So you can have your loop coming out the left output and your drums coming out the right output if you're using the drum machine, and that way you can send it to your mixer through different channels, which is awesome. So super handy to have audio routing in there, nice and simple, just 3 different modes. They've kept it very clean and simple, which I like a lot. Headphone output, this is when it gets interesting. Effects. So they've got a bunch of built-in effects, which is just super handy, just simple and clean, and they all sound really good. So I would like that it's not overcomplicated. Octave, which is very handy, always. So you can add a bass line or something like that. And then the next one we've got is boost. So boost is handy if you want to rip into a solo, or when you're doing a loop, you can just give your guitar signal a bit of gain. It's handy to just be able to hit one button rather than having to turn things up, and you can kind of mix while you loop. The next one, they've got some sort of cab simulation, and then they've got reverb, which you can dial onto your mic, or you can click the switch and you can dial the reverb on the drum mix, which is really important because sometimes with programmed drums, if they sound too dry, they just sound unnatural. So you want to have a controllable reverb so you can dial in the mix and make it sound mint and perfect. And also reverb on your loop mic. It has a mic input on the back with phantom power, so you can put pretty much any mic into the back of this, and you can record your vocals and get a bit of reverb so it actually sounds nice in the mix. So super handy. They are all the effects. And then just quickly flicking through, USB, you can import, export WAV files, USB audio stream. This actually has 32-bit float recording, not internally, I don't think, but you can record 32-bit float from it. I'm not quite sure how to do that, but it has a USB-C port on the side, and that's just a handy feature if you're interested. Like if it's always good to be able to record your sets somehow. I use my mixer and a lot of things to do that, but it's just cool they include it in here. So for some people, that's going to be really handy. I'll just quickly flick through that menu. Oh, it's also got loop back, which is kind of really cool. I don't know. I don't know when I would use that, but that's super handy that they're just chucking it in this. I'll discuss loop back more in another video. And then control. These are the different, what the control button does in the different modes. So you've got on the pedal, you've got track 1, record, track 2, record, and you've got the control button. So you can actually customize what the control button does in each mode. Stop, clear, drum off and off, tap, and different things like that. So you can flick through. Any more? Yeah, octave on, boost off, reverb on. So that control button you can program to do all your effects. One thing that's really cool is they give you this extra bonus little foot switch, and it has 2 inputs, A and then a B and A, and they also give you this TRRS cable. So you can just connect this directly into your looper through the expression port. And then you've got 2 more control buttons that are programmable, just like the control button on here. So now this rig is actually a 5, this looper, it actually comes with it. It is now a 5 push button looper. And so if we go across to the next menu, we've got expression foot switch. Click into that and we can literally see A and B, the ring and the tip. So if you go into the B and A, you get your controls here, and you can set them to turning it off and on the drum, tap tempoing, octave on and off, and the reverb on and off, or flicking up and down the banks. So some people would just use this as an A/B to just go up and down the banks. So I could set that on here super easily. I can just go group up on that side and then group down on that side. If we go back to the menu, if I press that, it's going to go up the banks. If I press this, it's also going up the banks. What have I done there? Let's just see. So I put up and up. So we want A is going to go down and B is going to go up. So if we go back to here, B is going up, A is going down. It's honestly that easy to just set these control buttons to be able to flick through different pages or effects. And so what I would do, which is really handy, what I would probably recommend at first is you've got these built-in effects. So these just become their own dedicated effects pedals. So let's make A turning off and on the drum machine on A, and then let's make B remote foot switch. Let's turn off and on the octave on B. So that's octave and that's drum. And then last thing, MIDI. It's got these MIDI outputs on the back. They're just really good with this stuff. They even give you this 3.5mm to like MIDI adapter because you've got these little MIDI outputs, mini MIDI outputs on the back. User interface, control buttons. You've got your level for track 1, level for track 2, drum level 1, drum level 2, mic level, and your overall master. They're just all in a row and they're really nice feeling solid knobs. You can use different loop modes very easily because you can just use that button on the front to switch between them super quickly. So if you want to do a song where you want your tracks to be synced, you can just press that button and switch it, and that light will turn green and you will know you're in sync mode. But if you want to be in gig mode, you can just make sure that light is yellow. And if you want to be in gig mode, you can just make sure that light turns yellow, and it's super simple, easy to look at. It hasn't been overcomplicated or anything like that. Okay, so let's give this thing a test. So I'm gonna go, first thing to test it, I'm gonna go into the mode that I use most of the time, which is A/B sync. And that's where we've got our 2 tracks. And I'm just gonna play a quick little something. So first things first, let's just record something on track 1. Cool, that's recording. I can overdub. Nice little thing. Let's switch to track 2. So I'm going to press this middle button to switch, and then I'm going to press B on this extra pedal, and that's going to turn on the octave that we just put on before. Cool, so now we've got a little bass line thing going on. Then if I press A, that's turned on our drums, which actually sounds quite good. Like, it's quite a realistic hi-hat. And so if I want to stop a track, I can just go double tap on track 2, or press Ctrl, stops them all, starts, stop, 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 start. So that's quite nice to have an all start, all stop of both channels. And if I want to stop independently, I can switch between them and I can just double tap. That's just the octave bass line thing I did. It's not quite in time, but it's okay. And okay, let's have a quick look now. We've got that done. Let's hit play, and then I'll just show you some of the drum sounds you can get in this, because it's quite cool. I am not usually a fan of built-in drums, but this is a full-on drum machine inside this thing. So if you press play, if we hold the drum style button, pressing it turns off and on the drums. So you press it, it turns blue, that means the drums are off. If we press it again, that means the drums are on. If we hold it, it takes us into the drum menu here. And okay, so we hold it, it takes us into the drum menu here. Currently on rock 1, we can turn this knob to turn up the strength. Okay, so now we are in the drum menu. The knob on the left is going to switch the kit, so we can go a bunch of different types of kits. And then the knob on the right is going to turn up the strength or the variation. So what you've got is you've got this kind of like 4x4 grid. Now let's just pause that for a second and talk about the drums. So drums off and on, you can press this button here. Red is on, that is obviously off. And if you hold it down, it's going to take you into the drum menu. This control knob on the left is going to go through the different kits you've got. And then for every drum kit, you actually have 16 different variations of that kit, so you can really customize it per kit. So you've got 30 kits times 16 different fills and things. So currently, the most simple at the bottom left is it's lowest on the strength axis and lowest on the variation axis. So if I turn this knob, going up on strength. It's becoming more, the intensity is coming up. That's max intensity with the lowest amount of variation. And then if I press this knob in, it switches to variation, and I can turn up the variation there without turning up the intensity. So you can really use the knob to find a specific sound you might want. I'm going to turn it down a bit. Cool. Unfortunately, when you're in the drum menu, it seems to just constantly play, I think. Unless no. Anyway, we can flick through the different kits. Let's go back down to the first setting. Pop, blues, funk, reggae, ballad. Ballad would be quite nice. Country, jazz, like bossa, Latin, punk, metal, West Coast, electronic. You've got a bunch of different options. Even just something like that, you know, I can already hear that that's very much like Ed Sheeran. Okay, so just to give you a quick demo of some of the features, just all in one of this loop pedal. So I have set on this extra little foot switch they give you, I've set this to turn off and on an octave, and this to turn on some drums, just like that. And then I've got track 1 and track 2, which I can switch with that, and I can Q and then delete with that. So if I was going to do a loop like Ed Sheeran, I would do this. Track 1, I'm going to switch to track 2 and do a bass line. So I'm going to press B, turn on the octave that's built in. Record. Cool. And then octave off. I might overdub. Maybe on the bass track, I'm going to overdub this. And then octave. Manual octave. And then I'm going to add in drum machine. And then multi-track, I can stop. Club isn't the best place to find a lover, so the bar is where I go. Me and my friends at the table doing shots, drinking fast, and then we talk slow. Turn off drums. Come over and start up a conversation. So I've got an independent button to turn off the drums. Dun, 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 dun. And then stop. Say dun, 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 dun. If the all start stop is going to stop the drum machine too, which is really cool. But if you press the drum machine button, you can just start it on its own, and you can stop it on its own, which is quite cool too. So you can use it. And you've got a fully fledged loop station just with this little dual track guy. You can strip it right back and stop and stop. Pretty cool. Very cool little unit. I really like that they've thrown in the extra foot switch just for, because it just opens up what you can do with it without having to buy another module. And it's very small and compact, and they even give you the cable with it. Okay, just giving you a quick demo of how the A-B loop function works. So if you have a section A, like a verse that might sound like this, you can loop it. That could be your A section with a little, that could be like your little verse, and then it might go into a bridge. So I'm recording this on the B track. So now that's looping. That's a B section. And then you want to go back into A, you can tap track 1 and it'll seamlessly start playing track A again. So you're back into the first section. So you're singing the verse. And someone cues you and they're like, oh, go into the bridge, go into the bridge. You just tap the second track and it's gonna just seamlessly just start section B. And it's gonna keep looping section B until you tap A. As long as you tap A just before the end, it's gonna switch. It's kind of like a train. It's like switching the tracks right before the loop. So if I tap it now, it's gonna go back to the other one. You can see it blinking when it's queued up. That means it's going to go to that channel when it comes in. Don't turn them octave. Let's turn the drums on. 1, 2. That's like the Cuban sort of drum kit. Hold the drum button. I can change the kit. Let's find something. That's like a reggae beat. Doesn't quite fit. Ooh. Oh, that's cool. It shows the BPM and it shows the time signature. So some of these, when you change the time signatures, they're not going to work that well. And then let's go to the next section. Oh, back to the main menu. Let's queue up the next section. Oh, turn the drums off, interestingly. Can I turn them up? I wonder, oh, interesting. Okay. I've just noticed that the little drum symbol on each track shows whether the drums are going to come on. So if I press section A, the drums are there. If I go to section B, that little drum symbol goes there, but we've actually got different kits on each one. Let's switch to... You can actually have different drum kits for each track. I didn't realize that. So if we're going section A, we've got this rock kit. And then section B really changes the vibe. It's actually, that's actually really cool. Then 1, 2, 1, 2, back section A. That is really cool. Okay, let's go back into the next section. One back and hold it down, clear. So that's really cool. So I usually don't use the A, B section thing, but the different kits and stuff, I can see how people can make that work really, really well. Okay, just a quick one. I'm just going to do a really quick, fast loop. I'm going to show you how the drum is just going to fall into your time. So 4 and cool. Nice short loop. 1, 2, drums on. Pretty good time. Let's switch the kit. That's quite cool. And then, if we switch to the next track, I've done something weird with the key there, but you can have a different drum kit on section B and then back. A and B sections can be completely different. So now we're back in the A section and then B. It's got like a completely different kit. So we can change the kit in the second one. So go through it. That's called Cumbia, that kit. Bossa. Well, that's quite nice. Cool. I'm going to cue up the first track. It's going to go back. 1, 2. It's a very Very garage kit. I do like that. And then cue up this one. Give me back. Really good for making arrangements and things in loops. 1, 2, 3, and. I really like that house kit. So really cool to use the sections, A-B sections, different drum kits. I like that. And I really like that you can just hold this loop button and you can switch back into an A-B sync mode, which is something I would use in gigs. And you can just see it's green now, which means it's in that mode, and you can switch modes really easily. So you can get a lot more looping functionality out of your looper just by having that kind of quick change thing. Obviously you can preset these memory settings to different things, but that's just a really good way to do it. So thanks for watching, guys. Any other questions on the unit, let me know. Thank you to NUX for sending me this guy. I hope you liked the video, and I will speak to you soon. Any questions or anything you would look at, let me know. Yeah, go check these out. I think they're around 500 Australian dollars-ish, around that mark, similar to like the Boss Aussie 500 looper. But this is quite updated because you've got like a color screen. It comes with the extra foot switches and a lot of built-in functionality. So I think bang for your buck, this is a really good way to go. Thanks, guys. Check out more stuff in my videos. I also do a bunch of videos that are not about gear, about being a musician and stuff like that. So little tips and tricks, shooting content, recording music, getting your music out. So check out my other stuff too, and I will speak to you soon. Thanks, guys.